Well, good day everyone, it's NQ Explorers again on another bush outing. Today it's a old tin mining town that dates from the 1880s and it ceased to be in the 1950s, although there was a railway line that ran through here until the early 60s, but the town had been gone for quite some time at that point. There's a few old tin scratches shows in these creeks, alluvial tin, and there's a couple of plants put in, and there's an old steam traction engine in this area, I understand. I've never found that. I'm going to see if I can find it today. I've been here a few times in the past. I've found coins, Victorian, Edwardian and early Australian coins, so and there's always some nice old relics. This here is the old coach road that used to run through here before the railway line was put in, and down the hill there is on the creek is the site of the railway station. So we're going to have a hunt around this area. Here's the town common basically, where there's just anthills now. There was a couple of hotels here and about 6 stores that I understand it. And like a lot of these old 1800s towns, they were well spread out. You find little scatters of bricks and ceramics all through the place. They're not like in an orderly row. One thing I have found when you find these old towns, the gazetted plans that you often get off the internet or off old books are often hopelessly inaccurate, because by the time the government surveyor got here to peg blocks out, people were camping all over the place. So the streets were higgledy-piggledy and allotments weren't perfect rectangles like they're shown on the plans. So often the plans are quite misleading. They'll bring you to the general area, but they won't bring you to the actual layout of the town. So, you know, I always find it takes 2 or 3 visits to one of these places to really get the feel of it, and then you start finding a few relics and coins if you're lucky. So it's a better getting the lie of the land, getting out in the car, doing a bit of Google Earth, and using the old plans but not relying on them too heavily, because often they're inaccurate. Anyway, I'll get on with the hunt. Too much talking. Off we go. Well, here we are at the old tin mining town. This is basically the town common. This post here is all that's left of one of the hotels, and there's a few bits of brick on the ground there and fragments. This is the first target I've dug this morning. It looks like it's just a steel ring. It'll be off a bit of horse tack probably. Good chance this is where they're tying up the horses out the front, because that's the old coach trail there that came through this area. And down in that lower area down there's where the railway line came through much later on in 1910 or whatever it was. So most of the town, the post office and the railway station down in that direction, but there were 6 shops and a couple of hotels up in this area, so it's worth hunting. The grass isn't too bad. It looks like it's long, but it's quite soft and easy to swing the coil, so hopefully we'll be back with a good find shortly. Well, there's a general view of that town common. I'm behind the hotel site, or one of the hotels. There was 2 that I know of. That exotic tree would be on the road frontage near the hotel. Just got a nice target at the back here. Good solid signal. I've got this beautiful little 2-ring bullet. I'll measure the calibre, Fahrenheit 1100, over to you. You'll be able to identify that for me, but that's definitely well, early 20th century, maybe late 19th century. I mean, the town was here from the 1880s and was all gone by the 1950s. That's a lovely little billet, that one. It looks like it's definitely, I'd say it's been dropped. Anyway, that's a good find out behind the old pub. I'm pretty confident. I've been here a few times and found quite a few coins. There's a couple of old houses down in that direction, Victorian and Edwardian type coins. I'm pretty confident that hasn't seen too many metal detectors this side. It's fairly remote, not terribly well known, not signposted at all, so no, there's a good chance of some real treasures out here, so we'll keep persisting around these old hotels. There's my next find. It looks like an old handmade railway dog spike. There would have been a lot of little narrow gauge tramways through this area, which service the tin mines from the creeks on either side of this ridge we're on, where the town common is. So that would be part of one of those old, probably one of those old tramways. Okay, we're just going to keep continuing in this direction and see if we can come across any old bricks or concrete like we had back at that hotel. Still behind the old pub there, and that exotic tree. I just see there's a brick, an old brick they're laying in the ground. I just got the back door latch for the back door of the pub, an old brass latch. That's really lovely condition actually. Quite ornate, as they usually are from that period. No worries, I'll keep that and polish them up. Nice one. Okay, on we go. Well, these are fairly common find in these late 1800s ghost towns, is the brass off saddles, brass studs. No big deal. they give a big signal on the detector. Can often be difficult to pinpoint with a larger core, but I like finding them, like the old brass buttons. You know, there's been a lot of activity in the area, and certainly there has been here. There's the two old hotels here as far as I can work out, and maybe a couple of shops. So horses getting tied up out the front, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's a good indication we're in the right spot, so we'll keep moving. Okay, that's the old coach road out there. It leads up the hill to a couple of hotels and shops. The Land Rover's parked up near that big green tree. This here, I believe, was a private residence. You can see some old timber stumps there in the grass. The remains of a corrugated iron water tank. There's a concrete front step there by the look of it. Similar deal at the back with the laundry and the dunny, and the outside kitchen would have been. A few more stumps and bricks, but just over here off to the side, I did the inside of the house, didn't find anything but iron trash. I picked up a lovely little silver. Looks like this is a hole here, 4 inches down. I just scratched this out. Appears to be an Australian, an Aussie sixpence. Quite worn, definitely a sterling one. KG5, I guess. I can't quite see that properly, it's quite dirty, but I'll give it a quick clean now, and I'll subtitle a date on that little sixpence. So that's a good find in the old town. It just shows you that there's things here, and I don't believe this has been heavily detected, this place. So the only obstacles are the grass, and it's not too bad today. So we'll keep at it, and we'll hope we'll come up with a few more goodies. Back shortly. Well, there she is. Have a look at that. 1917. It is absolutely beautiful, that coin. It's flawless. Well, it's worn, but I mean, as far as marks in it, it's just unbelievable. Been laying out here for close to probably 80 or 90 years in the middle of nowhere. So what a great find. 1917 Australian sixpence. Okay, on we go. I've been having a little bit of trouble with condensation in the camera lens, so if the image is all foggy, it's not fog out here, it's the camera condensation, so my apologies for that. But anyway, I just got this lovely old 303 round, fired obviously, and I'll get a head mark off that, because that I would suggest maybe like around early 20th century type 303 ammunition, hopefully. Okay, on we go. I'm at the back of the old hotel again. I just got this remains of a file, so it's probably a bit of a workshop at the back. What we've established is there seems to be a bit of a stables over the road, because there's a lot of horse related equipment, stirrups and rings from harness equipment. So I'd say this looks like it's a bit of a workshop area, so okay, we'll stay in this area and we'll see what else we can come up with. How good's this? It looks like a solid brass, really elaborate old cupboard handle, or drawer handle. Big screw connection on the back for the inside of the drawer. Geez, did that thing blow my head off when the detector found it. Beautiful, solid piece of brass. That's quite an ornate little fitting, so or maybe I'm in an older house area here. Actually, I'm finding a few old bits of ceramic shards and the big old green bottles you get from the goldfields style, you know, like late 1800s type of thing. So I could be on the an older part of the town here, so I'll persist here, and if I'm going to pick up things like this, there'll be other good relics around, so we'll keep at it. Alright, on we go. I'm just on my way back to the car for a bit of a drink, and I just picked up this lovely old relic. I'm pretty sure it's a pocket watch, back of a pocket watch. Ring up high, so it looks to be silver. You can see where the winder was in there, the winder, and there's some writing on there, I think. Clearly it's not in real good nick. Hasn't told the time for a long time. But if there's any writing on that, or engravings, I'll subtitle it. But it's definitely a pocket watch relic, or part of one. Part of the back of a watch, I'd say. Okay, on we go for a cold drink. I've had my cold drink, and targets have been a bit quiet. So I decided to go for a bit of a wander, see if I can locate anything else on this town common, where there would have been a house site, or maybe just tent camps, that sort of thing. Occasionally there's pieces of ceramic around here, but over here where I've left the detector and the pick, I found the remains of an old bed. So there's not going to be a bed in the middle of nowhere for you wouldn't think. So perhaps this is a house site. See one of these old, really old ornate bedheads. You rusted off, or stuck in the ground. Have a look at that. Yeah, there's one of the posts. Geez, that thing's heavy. Must have come up here on a bullock dray or something. One of the bed posts. Nice bit of, oh, it's only iron, but cast iron, I suppose. But reasonably ornate. Kind of Victorian looking, perhaps. So, next 20 minutes or so, I'll just concentrate in this little area where I am now, and we'll see if we can find some relics. I couldn't see why I'd better be out nearby by itself, without there being some sort of residence. There's a bit of a cleared grassy area over here. We'll have a look over here. Okay, we'll back shortly. I hope we've got a couple of targets in this area. Well, the detective's having a well-earned break-up against that old anthill there. The old bedstead didn't lead me to anything significant. I found half a brick lying on the surface. There was no targets in that area, so maybe it wasn't a house. I don't know how they came to be there. One of those mysteries of metal detecting. But we're going to head back to camp now and have something to eat. But I hope you enjoyed that little outing in the old tin mining ghost town. We didn't do too badly today. These old North Queensland ghost towns, whether they're gold or tin, copper, the coins are fairly difficult to find because A, the towns cover very large areas generally, and B, back in the 1890s people didn't have a lot of money and it wasn't a lot dropped. That's my theory anyway. But I mean, if you can find 1, 2, 3 old coins in a ghost town in a day's hunt, that's satisfying enough. I think that's a pretty good quota. So that old 1917 sixpence was a beautiful coin, and we found some nice old relics with it. So yeah, that was alright. We'll come back here another day and have another go at the place, but might just go for a bit of a drive now and see if we can find there is an old cemetery here. I think there's only one headstone in it. I've looked for it on several occasions, but I've never been able to locate it, so it'll be around here somewhere. So I'll just go for a bit of a run in the Land Rover and see if we can find the cemetery. But otherwise, thanks for watching the video. Best of luck on your next trip out, everyone, and happy hunting. Bye for now.